Today, I present to you the new Wouxun KG-S72C AM FM CB handheld radio. I will do a quick overview of the new Wouxun CB FM AM radio, and I will answer some common questions about the compatibility between the new FM style capable radios and the old-fashioned AM CB radios. The cost for the new KG-S72C radio is $119. Affiliate link below. And the radio will not be shipping for another 1 to 2 weeks, but BuyTwoWayRadios.com is taking pre-orders. Now, normally when I do a review of a new GMRS radio, they sell out within hours of when I upload the video, so I always advise that you pre-order the radios. But this is a CB radio, and I'm not sure if my extreme GMRS selling powers extend into the CB world. So now, to be fair, I do not usually do reviews of CB radios, so if you are a CB radio connoisseur watching my channel for the first time, welcome, and I promise not to let you down, and I also want you to know that you are my favorite viewer. If, however, you are a long-time viewer of my channel, then you know that I do not like CB radios. And one of the biggest reasons that I do not like CB radios is because CB radios operate on AM, whereas GMRS, which is my preferred mode of communication, operates on FM. And the difference, for those of you who may not know the difference, is that AM, just like the AM radio in your car, is staticky and noisy and it sounds like crap, and FM, just like the FM radio in your car, is smooth and clean and sounds pleasing to the noise holes. But thanks to our overlords at the FCC, they now allow CB radios to operate in FM mode, which is a game changer, if you believe all of the YouTube thumbnails that all of those other YouTubers make. I'm pretty sure that most YouTubers do not know what the word game changer even means. But it is a pretty big difference. It is sort of a big deal. And the new Wouxun is the first FM-capable CB radio available from Wouxun, pronounced Ocean, or Wouxun. So when you purchase the new Wouxun KG-S72C AM/FM CB radio, you will receive a user manual. I don't have one because my radio is literally the first production model of this radio available in the United States, and the manuals were not yet printed when they shipped it to me. But I have read the online version of the manual. It is 62 pages long, and it is very well written and in perfect English, and it is worded with non-technical language for everyone to understand. You can tell a lot about a radio by how much time and effort the company puts into the manual, and Wouxun put much time and effort into this manual. In the box, in addition to the user manual, which I do not have, you will also receive a belt clip, sturdy and plastic. It affixes to the radio itself by way of these tiny screws, which you will also receive in this protective packaging. The belt clip clips directly to the radio itself and not to the battery, so when you change the battery, the belt clip stays on the radio, unlike many other lesser radios. You will receive this lovely strap for affixing one end to the radio and the other end to any appendage on your body of your choosing. You will receive a BNC to SMA adapter. You can use this for connecting your radio, which has this type of connector, to a BNC antenna cable, should you have one, for quick and easy release and removal of the radio from a vehicle or your home. You will receive a battery charger. Technically, this is a battery charging cradle for inserting the battery or the entire radio into to charge said batteries. You will also receive this AC adapter, which plugs into the charger, and the other end plugs into those slots that you find located around your home. you will receive an antenna. This antenna is tuned to work with the CB frequencies, and it is approximately 7.5 or 7 3/4 inches long. You will receive one battery. This is a 2000 milliamp hour battery, which is small, but this is a low power radio, so a smaller battery is fine. And you will receive the Wouxun KG-S72C handheld AM/FM CB radio. The battery connects quickly and easily to the radio. The radio is very small. Wouxun says this is the smallest CB radio that you can buy. The radio, counting the knobs, is approximately 4 3/4 inches by slightly over 2 inches by approximately 1.5 inch. The radio has 2 knobs, one for on and off in volume, the other for changing the channels. It has a flashlight. It has a programmable button, a send and receive transmit light. It has an SMA male connector for connecting the SMA female antenna. Thusly, push to talk button here, 2 programmable buttons, which you can program to do different things. Speaker, microphone hole here. This is where you point your noise hole when talking. Channel up and down button, menu and enter button, and cancel button here. On the side, we have a door, which when removed, reveals a standard K1 type connector for an external microphone or earpiece, or for connecting to your computer. And you will find a small USB-C adapter for charging the radio, as well as a small charging indicator light. I'm going to remove the antenna so as not to poke myself in the eyeball. The radio has a small but very readable LED screen, which is very bright and very easy to read, even in direct sunlight. This radio has an IP65 rating. That means that the radio is moderately waterproof, so it is okay to play with this radio in the bathtub. Just be careful not to drop it. This radio has a super heterodyne receiver. That means it is a higher quality type radio than the less expensive homodyne, or direct conversion type radios, also sometimes referred to as SoC radios or system on a chip radios. So this radio will be more sensitive and will pick up less bleed over and less static than the cheaper type homodyne radios. This is a CB radio, so no license is required to use this radio. And like all CB radios, it can only transmit and receive the 40 CB channels allowed by our overlords at the FCCs. And in case you were wondering, the radio outputs 2 watts on AM and 4 watts when in FM mode. The radio also supports privacy codes, also known as CTCSS and DCS tones. Some people call them privacy tones, but contrary to popular belief, they are not private in any way. If you've used a GMRS or a ham radio, this is no big deal, but this is something new and exciting for CB radios. Programming software is available for the radio, but it is very limited. Pretty much the only thing the software is good for is adding a lot of custom channels with privacy tones, which, as previously mentioned, are not private. The radio has a favorite channel option, so you can set one of the programmable buttons to jump to your favorite channels. By default, the favorites are set to channel 9, which is the designated emergency channel on CB, and channel 19, which is the designated road channel for CB, just like on GMRS. The radio works right out of the box. All 40 CB channels are programmed into it. You just turn it on and pick a channel to talk on. And most important, this radio does have a Roger beep. However, the Roger beep is only enabled, or you can only enable the Roger beep on FM mode. And yes, I did just transmit without an antenna, and the radio did not explode, although it does say in the manual to not do that, so do not try that at home. You can transmit and receive on either AM or FM on any and all channels, and you can quickly and easily switch between FM and AM by simply pressing a pre-programmed button or going into the menu and changing it. As you can see, as indicated on the screen, the radio is currently in FM mode, and you can simply switch to AM. I have programmed that button to switch it quickly and easily between AM and FM. That is AM. That is FM. Now I know what you are thinking. You are probably wondering, what is the sound quality of AM CB versus FM CB? I too have been kept awake many a night wondering the same thing, so allow me to demonstrate the difference while receiving a weak signal, the difference in how AM sounds versus FM sounds.
This is a test of CB radio FM. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And as you just heard with your very own noise holes, FM is far superior to AM as far as sounding shitty is concerned. Now allow me to demonstrate what happens if you are listening to someone talking on an old-fashioned AM CB radio when you are listening to your fancy new CB radio in FM mode. What does it sound like?
This is a test transmitting on AM, receiving on FM. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And as you just heard, listening to an old AM CB radio while receiving in FM mode sounds pretty normal. But what do all the people using an old AM CB radio hear when you're transmitting in the fancy new FMs? As you just heard or saw, they won't hear very much, at least with a weak signal. Now the big question is, how many FARs does it talks? Now for you new CB radio using viewers, you are probably not aware that in the GMRS world, which is the fantasy world in which I live, we measure distance in FARs. The more FARs your radio has, the farther your radio can talk. And because this is a CB radio, a walkie-talkie CB radio that uses a relatively small antenna for the frequencies that CB operates on, it has the same number of FARs that you would expect a CB radio walkie-talkie to have, which where I live with many trees and houses around is approximately just under 1 mile when talking to another radio of this type. If you were to connect this radio to a larger, better antenna, such as on your vehicle or on your roof, it would have much more FARs and talk much farther, just like any other CB radio. So should you buy the new Wouxun KG-S72C AM/FM CB walkie-talkie radio? If you're expecting this radio to compete with a handheld GMRS radio, then no. Don't be silly. But if you want a new CB radio to talk with your existing CB buddies while off-roading or road traveling or whatever you guys do, or if you just want to be the first on your block with a new FM CB radio, then yes.